Shamani works for you. It's been almost 3 months since the Iran war started, and the Strait of Hormuz has been blocked. And people have said that this is one of the biggest supply shock in last 50 years. In spite of that, the oil prices have still remained at $100. So I was trying to dig deep as to why oil prices have not shot up in the last 2-3 months beyond $100. So what I found out was that there is a forced demand destruction as nations are resorting to various tactics like rationing of fuel, optimizing logistic routes, etc., etc. And so the forced demand destruction is estimated to be about $5.6 billion barrels per day. So that is kind of compensating for the supply disruption. Plus all the non-disrupted countries like US, Canada, and Guyana, they are manufacturing at the peak capacity. So they are compensating for whatever loss that is there of barrels. Plus Saudi Arabia has started pumping and utilizing the east-west pipeline, which is there. They are utilizing it to the fullest to transport oil from Persian Gulf to Red Sea and out from via Red Sea. So all of these measures have kind of reduced the supply shock, so to say. So that is the reason why oil prices have remained at $100. But if we have to see last 2 months, the negotiations have gone to and fro, but no clear solution has actually emerged. And many times it seemed like a deadlock is emerging, a stalemate is emerging. So what happens if the stalemate continues for another couple of months? One critical factor that we need to remember is that lot of countries, another factor I forgot to mention is that a lot of countries are like European countries and Japan, China and US, they are drawing oil from their strategic reserves, which is like the oil that they have stored in their reserves. So they are drawing from that reserve, because of which the supply shock is reduced. But that strategic reserve is going to fall below minimum threshold of a certain number, probably by sometime around September. That number is going to fall below this. So what happens after that? So if according to experts who have done demand supply calculations, they suggest that if we achieve a truce and Strait of Hormuz opens in the next 2 to 3 months, the oil prices would remain around $80 to $90 for another couple of months. Secondly, if the truce happens in September, then the oil prices could remain about $100 where they are right now for a couple of months. And in case the peace talks get delayed beyond September up to maybe say November, December, then in that case there could be a massive supply shock, a massive price spike, and oil prices could probably go into uncharted territory. But so that is the situation right now. So what are the likely scenarios going forward? We all understand that Iran is holding leverage over US in form of the blockage of Strait of Hormuz. But what is the leverage that US is holding in over Iran? So as you might be aware, US had implemented this naval blockade on Iran in the last 2 months, and that has been very successful, as Iran's exports are down some 93% in the month of May, and its economy is facing the heat because of the naval blockade. Second big leverage that because of this naval blockade, Iran is not able to export oil and it is running out of storage. Second big leverage that US has is that Iran is running out of storage, and typically when it comes to oil rigs, you cannot turn off the tap. When you turn off the tap of the oil rigs, there is a lot of damage to the oil infrastructure, as well as it takes like quite a lot of time to actually restart the entire oil, and it takes quite some time. Like when I say quite some time, I'm talking about a few months to maybe even a few years to restore the entire supply from the oil rigs. So in that context, once Iran runs out of places to store oil, they will have to turn off the tap, and their oil, which is like the primary source of income, it is going to collapse. So that is the leverage that US is having over Iran. Now, on the other hand, US is also facing a lot of challenges, as the Congress has passed a bill which has blocked any further escalation on war by Trump. Secondly, a lot of, like, almost every ally, US ally, is getting adversely impacted by the ongoing war. And thirdly, there is an election in the US in month of November. This war is quite unpopular amongst the citizens of US. So there's a lot of incentive for both sides, US as well as Iran, to end the war. The incentives are very big and substantial. So what are the chances? What are the timelines in which some kind of a deal can happen? So possibility that some kind of very initial, not a proper agreement or signed deal, but some initial level of agreement can happen. Probably has to happen in the next 3-4 weeks, because Iran is going to run out of the capacity to store oil by mid 15 to 20th of June. That is the estimate that people have. So in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I think there should be some initial level, at least truce, that the truce could be at least that the deadline gets extended, or Iran gets some leeway on exporting oil or something on those lines, so that they get more time to negotiate the deal. So some that kind of a deadline is possible, I think. So if that happens, I think that should be good. But it looks like that the incentives are very high. As I said, the incentives are very high upon both sides to close the deal. So the chances are high that we should get a deal sooner than later. And secondly, just to talk about the worst case scenario, that if Iran actually has to shut down the tap, then it has nothing to lose. Then things can go from bad to worse, and the war can restart and all of that. So worst case scenario is that oil can also go up quite substantially, but chances of all of that is looking quite low, and the chances that some kind of a truce can happen initially in the next couple of 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then a proper final deal could happen in the next couple of months, and the chances of that are looking high right now. So let's keep our fingers crossed and see how things go from here on. Do let us know if you have any further queries, and do share this video with anyone else who you think might benefit from this. Thank you. Bye.